Hi guys, today I want to talk a little bit about communication, specifically communicating with your foster coordinator. Now, clear and accurate communication is very important if you're fostering, and that's important for both the kittens and for all the humans involved in the fostering. You want to make sure that you're communicating correctly with your foster coordinator and you have a good relationship with your foster coordinator, because that's what's going to help everyone's experience with fostering go a lot more smoothly. So I hope this helps you a little bit. Stay tuned. So my first tip today is to keep all contact information available to you at all times. So you're going to want the number for your foster coordinator, maybe the number for the rescue itself. You're going to want any in your emergency numbers. So maybe there's an emergency vet of some kind that you can go to if there's a need for that. I just contact my foster coordinator herself in an emergency, which thankfully I haven't had an emergency so far, but that's who I would contact. But it may be different for your specific rescue or organization. So you also might need to know the number for your vet. I don't have to communicate with the vet for my foster kittens, at least not to make appointments and such. My foster coordinator does that for me, but you might want to have that number on hand too if it's available to you. Now you can get a business card, put them in your phone, or whatever is easiest for you, but I would suggest maybe having a list of these numbers in your fostering space as well as having them on your phone. If anyone is watching your kittens for any period of time, you'll also want to make sure they have all these numbers, so it's a good idea to probably write them down too or have some kind of business card. Secondly, you need to listen carefully and follow the rules. Now, it's very important that you follow the rules when you're fostering, because all those rules are in place for a very good reason. Trust me, if there wasn't a reason for a rule, rescue would not spend the time enforcing the rule, making the rule, and telling people about the rule. So ask questions about anything that you're unclear about, and know all of the care instructions that your foster coordinator have given you. Write stuff down and take notes if that helps you, or you can just remember it. But make sure you follow the rules and their instructions. Tip number 3, ask questions to clarify. Now, if your foster coordinator tells you something and you don't fully understand it or you have more questions, ask those questions. Nobody's going to make fun of you because everyone wants the kittens to be happy and healthy. So if something is not clear to you, just ask about it. Say, now, what did you mean about that? Or am I supposed to do such and such? Or should I change up how I'm doing things? They would rather answer some questions to make sure you are taking care of the kittens correctly and avoid the possibility that something would happen because you didn't understand. So don't worry, there's no stupid questions as you hear everyone say all the time. Just ask questions. So number 4, update your foster coordinator with any concerns you might have. So you'll probably see your foster coordinator at appointments of some kind or check-ins, that kind of thing. But you have their number, remember? It's in your phone, it's written down in your fostering area. So if there are any concerns or questions between appointments, make sure you text them and ask. Now, I would suggest texting unless it's an emergency. If it's an emergency, call. But if it's not an emergency and it can wait for a little bit, just text instead so that they can get around to your text when it's convenient for them. If there's any changes with the kitten's behavior or eating, anything like that, you want to ask them and make sure it's okay. Just be patient if they don't get back to you right away, because your foster coordinator is probably pretty busy, especially in the warmer months. It's kitten season, so they have a lot of kittens to keep track of. If they don't answer and your concern gets worse, or you need an answer a little bit more quickly, you can text them again and ask, or if it becomes an emergency, obviously call them right away. Tip number 5 of how to effectively communicate with your foster coordinator: keep all of your calls and texts within their kind of hours. Ask your foster coordinator, what time is most convenient for me to text or call if I need anything. My foster coordinator works from, let's say, 9 to 5. So I know that if I have a question, if I can wait for an answer, I will ask between those hours. That way she's not at home and trying to relax and she gets a text. Of course, if it is an emergency, like I said before, it doesn't matter what time it is. The number that you have been given for emergencies, in this case it's my foster coordinator, you can call that at any time in an emergency. If the kitten's life is in danger or you're concerned that the kitten's life might be in danger, immediate danger, call right away. Don't hesitate. If I have questions about my kittens that I don't know if it's an emergency or I don't know if it's important enough to bother my foster coordinator, I have a group on Instagram that also fosters kittens. So I will kind of talk back and forth with them and say, hey, what do you think about this? Do I need to get them into a vet? Do I need to take action right away? Or can it wait until tomorrow when my foster coordinator is, in and working? If you really aren't sure and other people that you've asked aren't sure, call. Again, it's better to be safe than sorry. Number 7, and maybe one of the most important tips on this list, be patient. Foster coordinators are very, very busy people. All of the people in rescue work are very, very busy, especially during kitten season. If you're not getting an answer to your text, just wait for a while, as long as you can wait without it endangering a kitten. And then you can politely text them back and say, hey, did you see my message? I was asking about such and such. But don't be rude about it or get impatient or anything like that, because it's not their fault. They're working very hard, you're working very hard, and everyone needs to work together and be patient with each other. This is something I forgot to put on my list and I just thought of it, but it's really, really important, and it's something I try to make sure I do every time I am texting with my foster coordinator. And that is to be very thorough. So for example, if my kittens are showing symptoms of a URI, I will text and say, these are the symptoms they're having, this is the day it started on, this is exactly what's happening, what would you like me to do next? Instead of just saying something like, hey, my kittens are sick, can you get back to me about what to do next? Because then she has to text back and forth several times to get all of the information, and it's more convenient for her to look at one text and say, oh, okay, this is all the information and I will deal with it, when I can. Another situation in which you would use this tip is if you are having to go out of town and you need someone to care for your kittens during that time. Give her, the dates that you need to drop off the kittens and pick them up. Tell her how long you'll be gone. Same thing if you have any questions about maybe a medication. You don't just ask your question about the medication, say, my kitten is on this medication for such and such a problem, and this is my question about it. It just helps clear up a lot of things, saves everyone time, it's more convenient, so really try to do that. So that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed and I hope it helped you. If you are a foster parent already, leave me a comment and tell me what helps you communicate well with your foster coordinator. Thanks for watching.